Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I'm your host, Jonathan Taylor. This is my second take on this video because I forgot to check if the mic was actually recording with the first one, so here we are. Well, thankfully, I now have a better idea of what it is that I'm going to say, so at least there's that. And I have to admit that actually is a little bit more helpful for an anniversary video such as this one. Because 5 years ago, I uploaded my first video on this channel, as well as on my second channel, but I'll get into that soon enough. And over the course of the 5 years I've been doing this channel, I've interacted with a lot of authors, somewhat through interviews, but primarily through reading their books. And if you'll recall, I actually started out this year by ranking the first 100 books I've read and reviewed. And while not all of these books had different authors, I nevertheless, still came across plenty of them, and many of them have also made pretty good impressions. And I thought that the best way to celebrate 5 years on YouTube would be to look back at the authors who have made the best impressions. And I'm talking about my auto buys, as in people whose books I will automatically buy as soon as they become available. And surprise, surprise, there are actually 5 of those. Happy coincidence. Though, admittedly, one of them does have an asterisk. We'll get to that. However, it's not just about excellence. I also want to cover something about the almosts. I want to look at I want to look not just at the people who are in general the best. I also want to look at the people who are most, who are in general interesting to follow. And yeah, with that out of the way, it's time I get into the actual meat of the video, starting with the almosts. And the first on that list is Andrzej Sapkowski. Andrzej, I'm not exactly sure how that's supposed to be spoken. For those of you who don't know this guy, he's the author of the Witcher books, and I've very much enjoyed my my read of them. To the extent that I actually have a dedicated playlist for them. And that being said, he also has a second book series, one that he actually thinks is turned out better than his Witcher books. However, I full disclosure, I haven't really felt the need to check in on it yet, because I am not necessarily sure his his sensibilities would really effectively translate to to what I know about that about that other books about that other book series. I don't know. I see Witcher being as being more more in line with how he himself also has also has also constructed his understanding of the world. Those other books being more historical might represent some I don't know, some shift in terms of presentation that I don't find myself very eager to explore. Still, he is a decent author, and when I find has done some good work. Hence why he is on my almost list. One could even call it the honorable mentions, but I didn't want to call it honorable mentions because when when something is when your list of honorable mentions is as big as your main list, then it's not just mentions. Anyway, now with that out of the way, let's get into the second author on this list, E.S. Barrison. E.S. Barrison actually has a somewhat similar there's a somewhat similar barrier, so to speak, between me and Barrison when it comes to when it comes to me getting into her work, one of temper and one of tone. There is obviously, nevertheless, she does have a lot of quality to her work, and a lot of it is very focused on that, on the theme of storytelling, of using your words, of sharing your experiences, and of finding your community through that. So in that sense, she also has a strong narrative identity and a distinctive storytelling voice. However, while I acknowledge the passion, and I very much think that there is a solid audience for the kinds of stories she writes, I don't I don't really find myself mirrored her uh, within her styling. So for that reason, she is off the main list, so to speak, but she is definitely one to keep an eye on. So yeah, yes, Person on my almost. Next up, we have Lydia V. Russell. I have read, admittedly, most of Lydia's work, and it ranged from the sorry about that. It ranged from the admittedly mediocre to to some stories that are outright fantastic. Maybe not 5 out of 5, but definitely great. Like if you'll recall what I said in the uh, beginning of this video about the first 100 books I've rated, you will note that that Lydia's last book made it quite high, top 20, and uh, and I have to say I very much find her combination of grace and style, and the way in which she is able to use quite evocative language to very much speak to speak to me, and also speak to her audience to a sizable degree. That being said, I I can't necessarily say that the depth of quality that I've seen so far from her, or her depth of or the tracking of her progression, uh, will necessarily be even throughout the throughout the entirety of her bibliography. There is one book of hers that I know of that I haven't read, which is a retelling of her first book, but from the perspective of the love interest. And I have to admit, I was not particularly impressed by the love interest in that book. So that story being told from his perspective, I'm a little bit iffy on that. Still, I think she does have a very interesting narrative voice, and she is definitely worth at least some level of attention. Next up on my list of almost is Valerie Storm. I'm currently going through the Demon Storm series, and in fact my last video was me talking about the fourth of the 8 books within this series, and so far I have noticed her progression as an author, and it has been quite exciting so far. And even though by the end of this year I will have read and reviewed pretty much everything that she has released, at least as of right now. Right now being okay. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Even though by the end of the year I will have read everything that she has released or made available for release, I can't, as of this moment, really say that I have been particularly blown away or impressed by by her by the quality of her writing. Still, I do acknowledge that there is level of passion and a level of personal intrigue that very much flows into her stories, and that makes that makes her imagination spring to life. And I can quite confidently say that her abilities have have improved over the course of writing the series, and I look forward to uh, how else she could improve. She has the potential to go from an almost auto-buy to a to a true auto-buy, but but for now she is still in the honorable mention section of this video, one could call it. And last but not least, Alyssa Lossing, the last addition to this category. And I have to admit, I am really only putting her up here on the basis of one book of hers that I've read, the arc review I did a couple of months back. However, within that singular book, I have noticed a great deal of grace and of care, and it was an intriguing example of her bibliography to dive into. And if the if she has other titles that are, and if her other titles are at least as good as that, then I can pretty much guarantee she'll move to the she will become an auto buy. For now, however, she is she's simply one offer I will keep my eye on for the in general for the foreseeable future. And now that I've covered the honorable mentions section of this video, it's time I delved into the main list. I do have to specify, however, that all the pictures you are about to see are either from these authors' social media presences or from their personal websites. So I do not claim any ownership of the images, and I do not intend any breach of privacy. Should that be the case, I will I will flag this video appropriately. Not exactly sure how yet, but I will. Anyway, now that we're done with the first part of this video, it's time I delve into the main event, and namely the auto buys, the people who I will automatically get books from because I just trust them with with everything with maybe not with everything they write, but I know that whatever it is they put out, it will at the very least be interesting and exciting. And the first person on that list is Chuck Tingle. Though admittedly, Chuck has a little bit of an asterisk to him, because he is most well known for his short form surreal erotica, aka his Tinglers, and I haven't really read any of those. I have occasionally listened to summaries or people reading them out, but I haven't personally read any of them. I might eventually. I don't rule it out. I don't rule out getting my hands on a compilation and then and going through it. However, the main reason Chuck is here is for his long form horror and horror adjacent stories. I first went into his work through his Trans Wizard Harriet Porber series, and I have to say I did find them funny and incisive and interesting to read through. But my interest for him really spiked with Camp Damascus, which I found to be a very captivating and very enrapturing piece of horror fiction, and I can only say that I've had a great impression of him. I still have a very a very good impression of what it is that he can do. When Bury Your Gaze came out, even though I was quite critical of it in my, in my initial review, I don't know why my voice broke there, but let's go ahead. While I was quite critical of Bury Your Gaze in my initial review, my stance on it has since kind of softened a little, because I can recognize that there is still a lot of passion and a lot of care that has flown into making that book the best it can be. And uh, and when I saw that and his next book, at least as of the time of this video's recording, Lucky Day, well, I pretty much pre-ordered that as soon as it was available for pre-order. So yeah, it's fair to say he has he has done a very good at it making his place within my auto buy list. So yeah. So whenever at least a long form piece of fiction is bound to come out of Chuck Tingle's pen, I will be right there to I'll be right there to pick it up, right there to collect. Next up on this list, Erica McCorkle, aka Kira of the Wind. She is probably the best world builder in the business, if not of all time, at least as of right now. She has a lot of creativity and a lot of and also a lot of focus. Like, she is able to create a broad and broad and stuffed and in the creative setting that has a lot of different elements, very distinctive moving parts, and some moving parts along with some very creative elements that fill everything up, and then as you read through her stories, you'll find that it's not just things that are stacked on top of each other. She actually pays a lot of pays plenty of mind and looks into plenty of insight into what makes all of her worlds work, all of her stories work, how the various aspects of the worlds which she writes about actually make a difference within the within the setting, and when it comes to how they are presented. Even aside from her world building, she has she knows how to focus on characters and narrative. And even though I don't always find it impressive, I still always find it interesting to explore. And that is really my main takeaway from a lot of her writing. It is very interesting to explore. It makes me want to delve into it. She knows just how to ignite and spur the curiosity of her readers, and she's able to do so successfully on multiple fronts. She is very much she's very much a presence within this fantasy fiction, and I think she is definitely worth people's attention. I can definitely say I consider she is worth mine. Hence why she is on and she's why on this list. Next up, we have River J. Hopkins, the cyborg writer herself, as she calls herself on various media platforms, primarily Instagram, which I think it's safe to say is her represents her main media presence, her main social media presence. And I have to say, I've read all of her releases. The first two I've come across, I've both given my highest possible rating, and even the one that had the lowest possible rating still had plenty of insight and plenty of heart, and some some really interesting developments about them. It so she is always an interesting figure, or she has always been capable of presenting um, interesting stories, uh, or otherwise she's able to frame the narratives that she is talking about in uh, uh, in intriguing manners. And also a little bit like Erica, she is able to throw she's able to throw a lot of things together. And while the synergy isn't, or at least the starting synergy isn't as good, looking at the when looking at the characters she actually writes about individually, and observing how it is that they, that they are defined and how they progress. She is, she is a she becomes a very intriguing uh, and exciting presence in terms of the literary medium, and she is one whose work I look forward to reading in the near future, or really in any future, whenever she wants to. Coming up next, we have Rosalind Breyer. Now, a lot of people who have been with me from the beginning will have recognized at least these three names, because uh, I've read at least one book from each of them in every year I've been doing this. I've been doing the uh, I've been on YouTube, whether we're counting YouTube years or calendar years. With the exception of uh, last year, yeah, and that is for good reason. With Rosalind Breyer in particular, not only is she prolific, but I have to say that she is that one thing that she excels at is characterization, because she is, in that sense, she is part mom, part big sister, part part erotic counselor. Not to say that her books are erotic, but they are but they are very sensual in that sense, and also they are emotive. She has a strong understanding of relationships, of all dynamics, and that understanding uh, really comes to the forefront when it comes to when reading through her stories. She understands that level of complexity and motivation, and she is able to translate that arguably more effectively than a lot of people I've encountered, and and that makes her a very interesting author to read through, and one whose works I look forward to delving back into. She's been on a break recently, due to having her, due to her third child having been born relatively recently. However, whenever she is ready to get another, to get another novel out, I'll be right there to pick it up. And finally, last but not least, Shiran Jai Zhao, the only non-binary author on this list, and perhaps, no, I'm pretty sure she isn't. They aren't the only non-binary author on this list. Um, I found myself to be captivated by their writing so far. I ordered Heavenly Tyrant, the sequel to their debut Iron Widow, pretty much as soon as it became available. Though I still haven't read it yet. But I did read their actual second book, which was which was the first in the in another series she is writing, focusing on Zachary Ying. And I have to say that despite the superficial differences between these sub-series, a lot of the heart is still about the same. She is in many ways still writing about immigrants and minorities, or representatives of minority groups, and she is able to give these people very full, very rich, and three-dimensional inner lives, uh, such that, and especially she's able to make everyone come across as relatable and distinctive, and she's able to play around with that contrast of uh, belonging and standing on your own, and also has a solid understanding of the relationship that people have with technology, which is a surprisingly rare thing to actually cement and really represent as effectively as is possible. And the best part about their style is that they are able to convey all of that without coming across as heavy at all. One could, detractors could label their work as popcorn stories, but really, they are just easy to get into. There is plenty of depth and plenty of heart in everything they write about, and I look forward to reading uh, uh, anything else they have in their in the pipeline. And yeah, that was it. That was my list of 5 authors who are auto buys for me, and 5 authors who are almost within that category. I have to say these are not the best offers I have read or reviewed, though there is a lot of overlap between this list and that. It is merely a list of offers that I find speak to me and that I would consider to be very interesting to uh, read and explore their work. And if any of them, and if my description of any of their stylings has been of interest to you, then I hope you get at least as much enjoyment from these people's works that I have been able to. If you've enjoyed this video, well then please like the video, maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If you have anything you'd like to add, either to the offers themselves or to my comments about each of their styles, that is what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My books, the first of my own Heir to the Empire series, The Next Generation and the Path Not Taken, are available at various book retailers under their respective master links in the description down below. Right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out should you choose to. I also have a second channel where you can hear me talking about whatever else crosses my mind, though it'll typically still be related to narrative analyses of works outside of the printed word medium. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on the printed word medium, then I suggest you stay on this channel, where aside from the occasional retrospective and list, I also do book reviews, writing advice, and miscellaneous connected topics. If none of what I've told you so far sounds of interest to you, then I suggest you go ahead and do whatever you want the rest of your day, because it is your day after all. And yeah, that was it for me. So until next time, I am Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.